100 years, Disney has been dominating the world of animation. Each studio premiere opens the door to a whole new world with many unique characters. Disney movies feature a lot of references to other movies made by the studio as well. So, there's a logical question. What if each of them takes place in the same shared universe? Let's just look at someone, evidence, and interesting facts, and you'll see for yourself. And don't forget to share your opinion in the comments, and subscribe to the channel not to miss any new videos. Let's get it on. The Little Mermaid. The standard frame rate in cartoons is 24 frames per second, just like in the regular cinema. Though when it comes to movies, action is recorded on the shoot camera while the cartoons are manually drawn by animators. It's difficult to imagine a boundary that requires, in theory, an artist can hide anything in someone's shots, and no one will even notice it. In fact, Disney employees do this on a regular basis. Witty Easter eggs, of course, don't always carry sublime meaning, but the search for them has long become a favorite pastime of all loyal fans. During the creation of The Little Mermaid, one of the animators decided to add Kermit the Frog to one of the scenes just for fun. Well, in order not to forget which studio he works for, he also drew Mickey, Goofy, and Donald Duck alongside him. Let us remind you that Disney bought The Muppet Show only 15 years later, in 2004. Later, the cartoonist's prank was discovered by co-director Ron Clements. Co-director Ron Clements. He found it very funny and decided to leave it in the final version of the animated movie. Like Lion King. When animators work on a character, they pay attention to every detail. It all starts with general sketches, which then turn into a more detailed, colorful model. Characters acquire facial expressions and a way of moving only at the last stage of work. Remember the evil Scar from The Lion King? Everything about him speaks of his malicious, intense, burning yellow eyes, a nasty grin, and a bluish-black mane. But there's one more detail. Every domestic cat owner knows this animal will never expose its claws for no reason. The same is true for lions. They use their weapons only in order to protect themselves from the enemy, to attack prey, or to climb somewhere. But if you look closely at Scar, you'll notice that he's the only one of the entire pride who never hides his claws. This way, the creators wanted to show once again how insidious and embittered the false king is. Even though Scar was ready for a fierce confrontation at any moment, it didn't actually save him. At the end of the first part of The Lion King, Simba finally returns to the pride and drives the treacherous uncle into a corner, after which the latter gets trapped by the hyenas and dies. But in a certain sense, the villain finds a second life in another Disney film, Hercules. Do you see the mane on the head of the protagonist? Yes, this is none other than Mufasa's killer. He had it coming. Tangled. Do you remember why Aurora, from Sleeping Beauty, fell into a deep sleep? Right, because she fell under the evil spell of the magic spindle. It was made by the evil fairy Maleficent in order to take revenge on the princess's family after not being invited to a christening. What are we getting at, though? Just look at this footage from the Rapunzel animated movie that came out 50 years later. Do you think this is just a coincidence? Perhaps. But some fans firmly believe that, in fact, Mother Gothel used to be an apprentice of the evil Maleficent. Perhaps it was important for her to keep some kind of spiritual connection with Il, the majestic mentor, so she stole the spindle from the castle. Or maybe she inherited it, even before Maleficent was slain by Prince Philip. Well, it had to get to Rapunzel's castle some way. However, Disney fans have yet another theory. Remember how Gothel treated her foster daughter? The villainess imprisoned the girl in a tower with one window to hide her magic gift from prying eyes, hair with healing and restoration powers. Don't you think we've already seen this somewhere? This is an exact copy of the evil queen, Snow White's cruel stepmother. Jealous of the beauty of the young girl, she imprisoned her in a similar way. If you still think that this is a little far-fetched, check out how similar they look, and all your doubts will disappear. It is possible that, after falling from a cliff, the evil queen survived and later kidnapped Rapunzel for the sake of much desired recipe for eternal beauty. Well, now it all fits, right? By the way, pay attention to how Mother Gothel behaves when she tells her foster daughter about her love for her. Each time she utters these words, the witch kisses or touches Rapunzel's hair. This is just one more confirmation that she was always interested in Rapunzel's magical abilities, not in the girl herself. However, we didn't expect anything else. Sometimes animators leave Easter eggs, hinting at what will happen next in the plot as well. Do you remember Rapunzel's faithful friend, the green chameleon Pascal? The most attentive viewers could notice hints about his existence early in the movie. See for yourself. A toy version of a charming creature hangs over the little princess's crib. In fact, if you dig a little deeper, here you can find references to several more characters and places that Rapunzel will encounter as an adult. The duck symbolizes the snuggly duckling, the tavern full of thieves, where Flynn Rider takes the princess. The angel is one of the pub thugs dressed as Cupid. Well, and the horse is a clear allusion to the funny horse Maximus, Hercules. In order to notice the following detail, the viewer must have impeccable attentiveness and at least a basic knowledge of astrology. But the animators apparently forgot to look it up in the encyclopedia. That's why they made such a mistake. Or is it really a mistake? Check this out. The goddesses of fate moire show Hades, how the planets line up, which means that he will finally be able to put in motion his insidious plan, which involves the Titans. Don't you notice anything? That's right, there are only 6 planets depicted here. In fact, there are 8 of them, not counting Pluto, which was also considered as such until recently. It would be naive to believe that the artist of such a large studio would make such a blunder by accident. Of course, this was done on purpose. The thing is that the ancient Greeks knew only 5 planets of the solar system besides the Earth: Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn. They can be seen in the sky without special equipment. By the way, you can also see them too, though you'll need to drive away from the polluted big city somewhere into the countryside. Ratatouille. Disney universes are so closely connected that some Easter egg characters appear in cartoons long before their own movies are released. For example, in Monsters, Inc., the girl Boo hands Sully a toy in the form of Nemo, the protagonist of the animated movie, which will be released 2 years later. A similar story happened in Ratatouille. Here we can see Remy facing a barking dog. We only see its shadow on the wall, but that's enough to clearly realize that this is the loyal Labrador Doug from in search of her beloved sister Elsa. And she suddenly realizes that she urgently needs warm boots and outerwear. So the princess goes to the store of the merchant Oaken, where a moment later she sees Kristoff for the first time. Somewhere in this scene, you can see a completely unexpected character who actually has also been to the North Pole before. We're talking about Mike Wazowski from Monsters, Inc. Kitty, can you find him? We'll give you 5 seconds. Yep, there he is standing right on the edge of a wooden table. However, in the form of a card figurine. By the way, there's also an Easter egg featuring the legendary Mickey Mouse, which the artists of Disney keep on hiding in all of their movies. Yeah, you won't be able to see his famous ears, but the red shorts with buttons can't be confused with anything else. Brother Bear. This animated movie was released in the same year as the insanely successful Pixar hit movie Finding Nemo. So the animators simply had to leave the Easter eggs in the form of a small clownfish, though it appears so briefly that you can only notice it when you watch the cartoon frame by frame. But clearly someone did it. Anyone who's watched Frozen will agree that Prince Hans is one of the most disingenuous and obnoxious characters in all of Disney history. Dashan. So no wonder he got an Easter egg. The face of the prince appears on a wanted poster on the police department bulletin board in the Big Hero 6 movie. A goofy movie? Honestly, every time we explore the world of Disney, we wonder, how do fans manage to find such cleverly hidden Easter eggs in scenes that last just a couple of seconds? This, for example, is simply impossible to notice with the naked eye. See the alligator in the background? He's holding a clock with a large dial in its mouth. But this is not a joke from one of the illustrators. What you see is a clear reference to the character of Peter Pan, the crocodile's tick-tock, who constantly made funny sounds because of the clock he swallowed in childhood. By the way, this very animal also ate the hand of old Captain Hook. Jungle Book. In 1967, when the first version of this animated movie was released, the Beatles was the #1 musical band in the world. No wonder one of the creators of the Jungle Book came up with the idea to reference the band in the plot. That's how 4 characters were invented. The good-natured vultures, Buzzy, Flaps, Siggy, and Dizzy. But how would the unknown audience understand that what they mean? See is a cute parody of famous rock musicians. It's simple. The characters were supposed to sing in a song in a scene where they meet Mowgli. The original plan was for the Beatles to voice the 4 vultures. This almost happened too. But the schedule of the band didn't leave any time for recording, and John Lennon was opposed to the whole idea as well. In any case, the characters have already been drawn, so they still look like the Liverpool 4 and have the fitting accents. 101 Dalmatians. While we can question the kinship of princesses and their stepmothers, there's no doubt that all Disney dogs live in the same universe. See for yourself. Here are the lady and the tramp in one of the scenes of the 101 Dalmatians. A little earlier in the movie, you can see the Scottish Terrier Jock, lady's good-natured neighbor as well. The same goes for Oliver and company. Jock and his friends, bloodhound Trusty, and long-haired singer Peg all got a cameo here. And of course, the main character from 101 Dalmatians, Pongo, also makes an appearance in Oliver and Company, where he, as usual, breaks free of his leash. The great mouse detective, the shy baby elephant Dumbo, from the namesake Disney movie, is known for its ability to fly using his huge ears. Turns out that he also has other artistic talents. For example, blowing soap bubbles with his trunk. But seriously, this is, of course, not a real elephant. This is just his cameo, in the form of a clockwork toy, which appeared in one of the scenes at The Great Mouse Detective. Princess and the Frog. In this cartoon, Dr. Facilia is the main villain. He's a voodoo bowcore of the dark magic, who dreams of exciting power over New Orleans with the help of otherworldly forces. He's very charming, which helps him easily manipulate naive people. Blinded by the criminal's charisma, they don't even notice that anything is wrong. Everything would have turned out differently had they been a little more careful. After all, even the wall in his lair warns about the danger. Look closely. Dr. Facilia's shadow reveals skulls on the wallpaper in his shop. Meet the Robinsons. Another Easter egg that ties together Disney universes even through many decades. Look, these are the original Toy Story and the Jungle Book posters on a baseball field fence where the genius boy Louis from Meet the Robinsons plays. By the way, there's also a Tyrannosaurus there, though not as good-natured as Rex from Toy Story. Dotting Lilo and Stitch. At the very beginning of this animated movie, the alien Stitch finally gets from the shelter to a new home. His new owners sincerely believe that he's just some kind of weird dog. So, at the moment of adoption, we see how the older sister, Nanny, signs documents for adoption. But if you stop at this frame and zoom in a little, it turns out that the contents of the contents paper have nothing to do with that. The shelter. In fact, Nanny signs a thank you letter from the directors and producer to the people who helped create the film. Sometimes, there might even be a tragic story behind the seemingly funny scenes in cartoons. You may remember that on Thursdays, Lilo used to go out to feed Pudge the fish with peanut butter. In addition, the girl believed that the fish somehow knew how to control the weather. We also know that Lilo's parents died in a car accident due to a severe hurricane. Based on all these facts, the fans of the film came up with a theory that the girl was simply trying to appease the fish with food so that tragedies like that would no longer happen. Aladdin? A question for the attention.
Thank you for watching till the end. I hope you liked it. Subscribing really helps this channel grow. Let me know your thoughts in the comments and share the love by sending this video to someone.